Welcome to Master Your Life, where facts meet awareness and every word could change a life. If you're passionate about real stories, powerful truths, and deep conversations that matter, you're in the right place. In today's episode, we're diving into a deadly habit, one that has claimed millions of lives and continues to poison our world silently, slowly, and legally. We're talking about smoking. Whether you're a smoker, a friend of one, or someone who simply values health and clarity, stay with us because what you're about to hear might just save a life, maybe even yours. And if you find value in our content, don't forget to follow the podcast, share it with others, and support the channel. Your support helps us keep bringing more episodes that inspire, inform, and spark real change. James, this is a heavy topic, but it's one we can't ignore. Are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely, Elena. That intro really hit home. I've never smoked, but I've seen friends and family struggle with it, and I never fully grasped how dangerous it is until now. Can you start by explaining just how bad smoking is for the body?
You're not alone in underestimating it, James. Smoking is a global killer, responsible for over 8 million deaths annually, according to the World Health Organization's 2023 data. Of those, 7 million are from direct tobacco use, and 1.3 million are from secondhand smoke exposure. It's not just about lung cancer, though that's a major risk, with smoking causing 85% of lung cancer cases. Tobacco affects nearly every organ: the heart, brain, lungs, liver, kidneys, reproductive system, skin, and even bones. Each puff introduces over 7,000 chemicals, including 70 known carcinogens like tar, arsenic, and formaldehyde. These toxins inflame tissues, damage DNA, and accelerate aging. For example, smoking increases the risk of heart disease by 2 to 4 times, stroke by 2 to 4 times, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, by 13 times. It's a slow poison that dismantles your health from the inside out.
Those numbers are staggering. I had no idea it was that widespread. What's even scarier is secondhand smoke. You mean just being around a smoker can harm you?
Exactly, James. Secondhand smoke is a silent killer. It contains the same toxic chemicals as firsthand smoke, putting non-smokers at risk. The WHO estimates that secondhand smoke causes 1.3 million deaths yearly, including 600,000 from heart disease and lung cancer in non-smokers. Children are especially vulnerable. Exposure increases risks of sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, asthma, ear infections, and developmental delays. Pregnant women exposed to secondhand smoke face higher chances of miscarriage, preterm birth, and low birth weight babies. A 2022 study found that children of smoking parents had a 30% higher risk of respiratory issues. Even brief exposure, like 30 minutes in a smoky room, can impair blood vessel function in healthy adults, mimicking the effects of active smoking.
That's heartbreaking, especially for kids who have no choice. I've noticed smoking is still glamorized in some places. Movies, ads, even social media. Why is it still so normalized?
You're spot on, James. Despite decades of warnings, tobacco companies have mastered marketing. In 2023, they spent $8.7 billion globally on advertising, often targeting young people with sleek packaging, flavored products, and influencer campaigns. E-cigarettes and vaping, marketed as safer, have hooked a new generation. Over 10% of U.S. teens vape, per a 2024 CDC report, and many transition to traditional cigarettes. Pop culture doesn't help. Smoking in films and TV often portrays it as cool or rebellious. Whistleblowers from the tobacco industry, like a former executive who left in the 1990s, have admitted to deliberately targeting vulnerable groups, including teens and low-income communities, knowing the deadly consequences. This normalization masks a grim reality. Smoking kills half of its long-term users, often shaving 10 to 15 years off their lives.
That's infuriating. Can you share some real-life stories to show how smoking has affected people? No names, of course.
Absolutely, James. These anonymized stories, drawn from medical case studies, support groups, and public health campaigns, highlight the human toll of smoking. Story 1: The Young Father's Battle. A man in his mid-40s started smoking at 16, thinking it was a harmless teenage phase. By his 30s, he was diagnosed with early-stage COPD, struggling to breathe during simple tasks like playing with his kids. At 42, he needed oxygen tank 24/7. He told his support group, "I'd give anything to run with my son again." Quitting with therapy and medication helped stabilize his condition, but the lung damage was permanent. Story 2, the teen's regret. A woman in her early 20s began smoking at 14 to fit in with friends. By 19, she noticed chronic coughing and fatigue, impacting her college studies. Diagnosed with bronchitis, she faced frequent hospital visits. She felt trapped by nicotine's grip, saying, "I thought I was in control, but it controlled me." After joining a quit program and using nicotine patches, she has been smoke-free for a year, but the fear of long-term damage lingers. Story 3, the family's loss. A 55-year-old woman smoked for 30 years, ignoring warnings until a heart attack at 50. Her family was devastated as she was the main caregiver for her grandchildren. Post-recovery, she quit with counseling, but her heart function remained compromised. She shared, "I didn't realize my smoking hurt everyone around me." Her story underscores how smoking affects loved ones emotionally and financially. Story 4, the athlete's decline. A man in his late 20s, once a competitive runner, started smoking socially in college. By 27, he couldn't run a mile without wheezing. Diagnosed with early emphysema, he lost his athletic career and sunk into depression. With support from a quit line and exercise therapy, he's rebuilding his health, but he regrets, "One cigarette stole my passion." These stories show smoking's devastating reach across ages, genders, and dreams. They're a stark reminder, no one is immune.
Those stories are gut-wrenching. It's not just about health, it's about losing dreams, family time, everything. How does smoking affect the brain specifically? I've heard it's not just the lungs.
Great question, James. Smoking's impact on the brain is profound. Nicotine, the addictive component, hijacks the brain's reward system by mimicking dopamine, creating a cycle of craving and reward. A 2023 neuroimaging study showed that long-term smokers have reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex, impairing decision-making and impulse control, much like drug addiction. This explains why quitting feels so hard, because nicotine rewires the brain to prioritize smoking over logic. Smoking also increases the risk of stroke by 50%, as it narrows blood vessels, reducing oxygen to the brain. Over time, this can lead to cognitive decline, memory loss, and a 20% higher risk of dementia, per a 2022 Alzheimer's Association report. Anxiety and depression are also common, as nicotine disrupts mood-regulating chemicals, trapping users in a cycle of emotional dependence.